Wayne, the new book, Chapters, a decade in the Premier League. Does that make you feel a little bit old when you say a decade?
Not really, because I think there's a lot of players who start playing when they're like 19, 20, 21, and you know, after the 10 years they're maybe 30 or 31, whatever. Because I started so early at 16, I'm still obviously only 26, so although it's great to have played in the Premier League for 10 years, and I still feel that, you know, I've still got a long time playing in the Premier League, so it's just feel it's a great achievement to play 10 years and still be so young.
I was trying to predict what goals you would pick out as most memorable, and I figure it has to be for Everton against Arsenal, and for Manchester United against Manchester City, the greatest goal in 20 years of the Premier League. Would those be the two that stick out?
Yeah, of course. I think my goal for Everton, obviously, I was quite anxious to score, to be honest, because I started the season with Everton, and then I wanted to score still as a 16-year-old before I was 17, and that was my last game. I had to do it, so I was a bit disappointed to be on the bench.
and then, you planned it out, hadn't you? You'd from the book, I noticed that you knew that the defenders were dropping off. You knew when your chance would potentially come.
Yeah, well, we watched videos on Arsenal before we played, and you could see the back four, if anyone got the ball in behind, quite different to maybe when Tony Adams and all over there when they're trying to play offside. But if you did get in behind the midfield, you did like to drop off, and so when that happened, I took my chance to shoot, and thankfully it's gone in the top corner, and that's it.
Rest is history.
Yeah.
The bit I love about the celebration story from the book was not that you went to the pub as a 16-year-old and claimed to just have a can of fizzy drink, but you then went and played football with your friends. You've just pinged one in against David Seaman, and then you go and have a kick about on the street with your mates.
Yeah, well, that's what we used to do. We used to go out and, you know, and play on the streets and near where we lived, and we were all there, you know, playing until you know, it got quite dark, to be honest. But that's what we used to do. You know, we were still a young lad, just left school as well, and it's that's what we love doing, and you know, I enjoy doing that as well.
When did you last get to do that?
Probably when I joined Man United. It was more difficult to go back home to Liverpool and be playing football on the streets, obviously.
Gaffer's not going to be too keen on that, is he?
I still go there quite a lot to see my family and stuff, and whatever, but obviously I don't think I should be going back there playing football on the streets wherever, so, but yeah, so probably then.
The City goal must be considered the goal that really sort of defined you. What are your memories of such an amazing goal and an amazing day?
I remember the game, and to be honest, I didn't play that well in the game, and obviously going 1-0 up and then City equalising, and to be honest, they looked like the team to go on and win the game at that time, and yeah, when I scored, it was an incredible feeling. I actually didn't even see it go in. I was trying to turn around.
You're in a heap.
I was trying to turn around quick to see it, but I didn't see it, and then it was great after the noise in the stadium, and the feeling was incredible, and it was certainly my best goal.
It started off with a bad touch, didn't it?
It did, yeah. So the ball came into me, and I went to lay it off, and it was a terrible touch, and I just thought, just get yourself in the box, and hopefully something will drop to you, and thankfully it did, and you know, 9 times out of 10 they'll go over the bar, or you won't catch it as nice, so thankfully it's gone in the top corner.
What comes across in the book is your love of football. Do you still have that same love for the game that you had as a 16-year-old now at 26?
I love it. You know, it's the feeling you're playing is incredible, and to do it every day is your job. It's you know, it's an amazing feeling, and something I feel very, very privileged to be able to do that. And obviously the best feeling is, you know, running out onto the pitch, and you know, that wait for the game, the anticipation, the excitement. It's all, you know, it's difficult to describe, but it's an incredible feeling. And even, you know, when you're not playing, your team's not playing, and watching other games, you get an excitement waiting for games to kick off and waiting to watch them and different stuff. So it's it's something I think will always be inside me, is my love of football, and it's something I want to, when I do finish playing, I want to continue doing, and in some way, hopefully, a coach, a manager, whatever, you know, if I could get that opportunity, I'd love to do that.
You said that the senior United players told you that the first title that you win is always the best because it's your first one. Did it prove out to be that way?
Yeah, I think definitely. You know, I think it's more relief more than anything, because you know you haven't won the league title before, and every time we've won the league title, it's been an incredible feeling. But that first one, that relief and you know that enjoyment you get out of it is something special, and I think I'd definitely say that's the best one.
Last season will be remembered for the way you lost it, not the way it was won in your mind, I'm sure. How has that affected you over the summer? How has it focused your mind? Does it make you think now, even if you're 2 up or 3 up, you need to get that extra goal, whether it's the 4th or the 5th, because you never want to have that happen again?
Yeah, of course, and the manager actually said that before the start of the season, that sometimes we go 2 or 3 up and we tend to, you know, maybe if it's a Saturday or Sunday, we've got a Champions League midweek game, and we tend to sometimes think about, you know, saving your legs a little bit and concentrating on getting this game finished, and then got that game coming up. But now he's obviously said he wants us, you know, going to the end when we're 2-3 up, keep going for that 4th, the 5th goal, and because I'm sure, as you are well aware, he's determined for that not to happen again, and I certainly wouldn't like to be in the dressing room if it does happen again, for sure. How
do you view the challenge that City pose now? Because in the past, you know, the 8 years here, you've seen off Arsenal, you've sort of seen off Chelsea at different stages. Now you've got to try and see off Manchester City. How do you view that going forward?
Well, I think that says a lot for Manchester United, because you know, normally after January, come into February, really 2 teams tend to break away, and it's between them 2 teams who wins the title. And since I've been here, it's been Man United plus another. So it's always been Man United who've been in there and in about of winning that title if we haven't won it. So it's something which I'm sure, you know, the history of the club, the success, the fan base, this club will always be challenging, and then obviously City have come now and they've got some fantastic players and they're a great team. So sometimes it's that challenge which brings the best out of you. So hopefully that can do that and we can get that title back.
You talk in the book about some of the strike partners that you've had. You talk about Van Nistelrooy, you talk about Tevez, you talk about Ronaldo. What excites you differently about having Robin van Persie here now?
Well, I think, as everyone can see, he's a world-class player. He's got great experience, and then I think now the way he plays to score more goals, where maybe in the first 4 or 5 years of Arsenal he was playing in behind the forward or maybe sometimes out wide, and you can see he's adapted his game to play further up and to score more goals, which he's done incredible. So it's great for me, certainly for the other forwards in the team. It's fantastic. And
is it never a threat but an opportunity? It's an opportunity to build something new rather than someone threatening your place?
No, of course. It's I think for us as forwards, we need to, you know, all of us, we need to make sure when we do play, we play well to stay in that team. And it's great, you know, for Manchester United, great competition, a great challenge, and I'm sure that will bring the best out of us.
Your relationship with Sir Alex Ferguson is one which features in the book heavily. He wrote the foreword for your book as well. What testament do you pay, what tribute do you pay to him in terms of helping you get to where you are at the moment?
Well, I think, you know, it's incredible for him to be doing what he's doing and for so long and to still be successful. It's incredible, and I think he's always been a supporter of mine, and I think when I was a young lad, he phoned my mum and dad when I was like 13, 14, whatever. So he's always, I think that shows how good the scouting system is, and he's and then when he got the opportunity to sign me, obviously it was a great feeling, and he's just watching him and working with someone, you know, who's done it so many times and continues to do it with that desire and that winning mentality. It's incredible to be part of, and you know,
both hate losing, don't you? That's the one thing you've got in common, but
Yeah,
strip
no.
everything else away. You both hate losing.
I think, as I say in the book, it's when you lose, it's the worst feeling in the world, and I've said that in any sport, and yeah, I think that's the way I've been brought up. The way you you'd have to fight for everything and try and get the best out of you by doing that. So yeah, and the manager's completely the same. He's probably greater than anyone I've ever seen. So it's to work with him for the last 8 years has been incredible, and hopefully there's another I'm sure he'll be still going on longer than all of us are still at the club. He's got that determination and that desire to do so.
He says in what he wrote in your book about you having a little wobble in 2010, you addressed it as well. Do you reflect on that as probably of the mistakes you've made, probably the one you regret the most?
Yeah, of course. When that all happened, and I basically, went in and told David Gill and Sir Alex what I felt, and that was it. And then maybe the next day, I was sat at home and I realised, I was thinking about it and realised I'd made a mistake. And
that quickly?
I went in to see David Gill and the manager, and I stressed him that I feel I've made a mistake. I apologised, and hopefully, there's a way back for me to play for the club again, have a long future at the club. And thankfully they both accepted I had made a mistake, and within, I'd say, 12 hours I'd signed a new contract, and since then we haven't spoke about it. Just have to try and move on, and I had to try and obviously rebuild that relationship with the fans, because obviously they were very upset as well, and with my teammates, and which I feel I've done. I've scored goals, I've played well, and hopefully I can continue to score goals for Manchester United and help us be successful in the years to come.
You said you've still got this love for football that you had as a 16-year-old. How has your love for Manchester United changed in the 8 years here that you've had it? I presume it's grown because you're now sort of ingrained in the modern history of the club.
Of course, I think when you first join a club, you always want to do well and you want to be successful with the club, and I've managed to do that with Manchester United. And being at Man United for 8 years, it's I know you hear people saying, but it is like a family club, and you get to see all maybe some stuff you didn't realise which happened in the club. When I wasn't even born and stuff like that, you get to see all the history and how big the club has grown over the years, and you feel part of it. You are part of that history. So I said when I signed a new contract, I say it again, I love playing for Man United, and again, as long as I wanted to play for this football club, I'll be here for a long time.
You love them more than ever?
Of course, yeah. It's a great football club, and let's be honest, when you think about it, where else can you go from this football club? There's it's probably, if not the biggest team in the world.
Where you go from here, is that mapped out in your mind, even if you don't want to say what it is at this point in your life? Do you see yourself staying here forever?
I hope so. I want to be successful. I want to still be playing, in the next 10 years, still be playing here and, be successful. And I think you just look at Giggsy and Paul Scholes, how successful they've been, and they're an example to us all. And, that's the idea, that's the plan, and, hopefully that'll be the case.
Those two guys, Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes, are also an example of how you can maintain a long career. What do you need to do to make sure that you've got even better football ahead of you now? Because I've heard you say before you think the best is yet to come from you as a footballer.
Yeah, I do. I think obviously you need to work hard, and you need to keep working, keep yourself right, and keep playing and working hard. And there's things we do now at the football club which maybe some of the players now wish they had when they were younger, where you're doing all the sports science at the club. They have different regimes for different players, and what regime they feel is going to prolong your career and help you play for longer, they have set for each individual. So it's that's what we all do at the club, and we try and help make us play for longer. That's the plan, and hopefully that'll be the case.
A couple of other things I wanted to ask you about. One thing that I didn't expect to see in the book that you would talk about so forthrightly was your hair. And you've spoken really openly about it. And it seemed to me that you avoided a lot of stick in the dressing room by telling the rest of your teammates that it was going to happen before it happened. And it kind of nullified the threat. There wasn't too much they could say at that point. Is that how it played out?
I think they knew for months before I was getting it done. And yeah, so no, I just think, you know, there's no point in trying to deny anything when, you know, the end of one season they come out with basically not much hair, and then the start of next season you've got a lot more hair, so no point in trying to deny it. It was best to just come out and tell the truth really and say it, so that's what I did. So
I know you've got a really good sense of humour. Was there part of you that was tempted on that first day of pre-season to come in with an Andy Carroll-like wig?
I was actually thinking about it. I was gonna put a cap on and then put a ponytail out the back of it.
Like Rodney from Only Fools and Horses.
That's I was going to do, but obviously I never done it. But no, I've no problems with, you know, everyone has their opinions. I couldn't care less really, as long as I'm happy with it.
And fatherhood is something that's happened in the last decade for you. I know when I became a dad, you had less bad days at work because you come home and you've got your son there, sleeping, playing, smiling, looking at you. It puts everything into perspective. And I know that last season was your best goal scoring season, but also your lowest amount of yellow cards, I think, as well. So best season for discipline like that. Do you think that's helped you develop a maturity, being a dad?
Yeah, I think probably. I think, you know, first of all, it's incredible experience, incredible, you know, love which you've got for this one person which you didn't even know existed. So that's the first thing, and then obviously you want to try and do right by your kids. And you know, I think when, you know, the incident at West Ham happened, when, you know, I swore down the camera, you know, I was really disappointed with myself in that, and I've made a conscious effort to try and stop silly things like that, you know, because, you know, I didn't really want, you know, my kids, you know, seeing his dad do that on the TV. So that's certainly part of it, of course. So it's but yeah, no, it's great. And you know, he comes out to all the day games, the night games, and you know, it's great to have him there watching. And you know,
he's got some skills.
He's got a few. Yeah, he's not bad. He's left-footed though, so.
Oh, that's good.
He's
that's a bit extra on the contract for a start.
He's left-footed, so I don't know where that's come from, but he's no, I think, as you say, left-footers always look better than the right-footers, don't they? So.
And I just need to ask about the injury finally. It looked pretty bad. Was it as bad as it looked?
I was quite lucky, to be honest. It didn't, you know, somehow didn't hit my muscle.
Hit everything else, just about. It's big enough.
It was, you know, like a millimetre or something away from my artery, so it could have been, you know, a lot worse than what it was. So, you know, I have to thank God, and I'm quite fortunate that.
You don't get squeamish at all?
No, I'm alright. You know, the doc said when he looked at a lot of players, would have seen him maybe fainted or whatever, but they tried to cover up from me inside when we got in the dressing room, and because they were putting whatever it was in to stop it getting infected. And you know, I told them to, you know, let me see, I want to watch it. And so, but no, that's no problem.
Have you got a return date penciled in? Do you know how long you're going to be out?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It's feeling good at the minute. It's healing quite well, and it's basically down to the doctor to say, because I don't. Obviously you have to be careful, because I don't want to come back too soon, and if I do get a bang on it, it opens up again, and I'm back on the sidelines.
Are you even running yet?
No, not at the minute. Yeah. So it's I think probably what we said at the time, the 4-week scale, that'll be the case, I'd imagine.
For your chance to win a copy of Wayne Rooneys' new book, My Decade in the Premier League, just click the link below.